Welcome back to another Medtech Snapshot. I'm excited for the topic today because we're talking about supply chain partners. And joined with me today is Philippe Jean. He's the Senior Supplier Quality Engineer with ATEC out of Carlsbad, California. So Philippe, this discussion, there's been a lot going on in the world. So supply chain challenges and discussions like this are pretty topical at this point. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on if we look at dual sourcing or multi-sourcing, this idea of not putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Talk with me about what the strategies are that you've used to ensure that you have backup suppliers, especially for the critical components, critical materials that would be used in your devices.
Hi, Travis. Super excited to present this snapshot on dual sourcing. I think I want to start with a rhetorical question. Who has not experienced a supply chain crisis? I think we've all experienced it with the pandemic and all the aftermath, geopolitical issues and so on. So yeah. I think what we're trying to hit is de-risking the supply chain to avoid any disruptions. What we've done at ATEC is really proactively approach developing those second sources, especially on the class 3 medical device implantables. And it's been very rewarding. We've been able to get great results with a key kind of a methodology we've developed, across the different players. So I just want to break it down in a few steps so our audience can hopefully take some of this away. The first thing we want to do is really align internally with your supply chain, your engineering, your regulatory, in order to really define what you're trying to achieve with that second sourcing, what are the goals, and then once you have that alignment, then you can go and start hunting for new suppliers and then cast a wide net and eventually narrow it down to a vital few. Once you have your short list of suppliers that you want to explore further, there is obviously some preliminary qualification that you want to do, assessment, desk audits, things of that nature. That's really going to help you, get a feel for is the supplier going to be able to meet those needs, or should we dismiss it and then move on. Once you've done those steps, the bulk of the work is going to be in your process and product qualification, which typically on a class 3 is going to be very onerous. So you want to really focus on those activities and make sure they're diligently managed, because that can be very expensive and time consuming. But really it's an investment for the future, because you're going to have a second source that's going to be able to be up and running very quickly in case your primary source is going to fail. And that's really going to be the big takeaway with the second sourcing, is having that ability to just jump from one supplier to another, or be able to ramp up both and then increase your overall capacity. So I think that's really the great benefit.